In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how an intermediate level user might approach building a scene in Vortals. So the first thing I do is choose New Vortal. And when I'm presented with a whole bunch of options, I'm going to change from mixed reality to adaptive mixed reality. And then I'm going to choose Create. Once I've done that, I'm greeted with this node editor. And what I'm going to do in this node editor is I'm going to create two slides, two 2D slides. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the start node with the second 2D slide that I created. Now it's important to realize that the second slide that I've created is now the first slide in the presentation. In this mode, the order that you create a slide doesn't actually matter. What matters is the flow diagram that you have put together in the node editor. This becomes really important as we start to build interfaces. So let me go to my 2D slide. What we're going to do in this presentation is update the old way of presenting information about the ear from a 2D version to both virtual and augmented. Now sometimes a user might want to use virtual reality and sometimes they might want to use augmented reality. And what we want to do is give them the choice. One of the ways you can do that is to provide a button, which will take them to their slide of choice. So to do that, I'm going to choose Button, and I'm going to make it a slide button. A slide button is a button that when you're in the player mode, you click it and it will take you to your slide of choice. So let's go to our node editor. And what we discover is that a button has appeared in our 2D slide. So now if I create a virtual reality slide, I can connect it with the button that's just been created. So now if this button is clicked, we follow our flow diagram and we find that it takes us to our virtual reality slide. Now if I return to my first 2D slide, I can add another slide button, and this slide button will be my augmented reality choice. And so now I have created options for the user to click to watch in virtual or in augmented reality. And if I go back to my node editor, we'll see that this has now created a second button that will allow me to create an augmented reality slide, and I can connect that button to the slide. And now our user has interactive choices that they can make. If they click on the second button, it will take them to this augmented reality slide. And of course, if they click on the virtual reality slide, it will take them to the VR slide. Now to finish up this presentation, I need to create the 3D models that the user gets to experience. So I could find those 3D models and choose to load it through the 3D model system. But what I'm actually going to do is come to our library of materials. Vortals has a whole bunch of library materials that you can draw from. So for example, we have the entire ear broken down for you so you can load them all individually. So what I'm going to do is load up all of the 3D elements of the inner ear. Now one of the great things about Vortals is that we've standardized all of the interface systems. So I can also create a button in virtual reality. I can click on Button, make it another slide button, and now this button will automatically work in virtual reality. The user will be able to click it and it will take them wherever it is that you want to send them. So I can return to my node editor and we'll see in our virtual reality slide, we now have a button that has appeared. So I can take this and I can send it to a 2D slide. Alternatively, I could actually send the user all the way back to the beginning. There are no real limits to what you can do with this type of interface, and it opens out a really powerful way to manage your interactive experiences. So you can build complex interfaces, or you could even use this system to create choose-your-own-adventure stories in augmented or virtual reality. This is a great example of how our schools are using Vortals. This is a Year 9 project, where students have created an augmented reality walking tour. And in this project, you can see how they've used the node editor to manage their very complex interface that they've built. You can see in the interface there are lots of buttons that will take you to different places. And each of these buttons is managed in a very simple way using the node editor. So if you clicked one button, it'll take you to a 2D slide. And if you click the other one, it takes you to the augmented reality slide. Projects like these are highly engaging, and they're a perfect opportunity for students to practically employ their design thinking skills.